Yes, yes, yes. We are back. Listen, it's been a long time. So called Black in America, and I'm your host. Listen, it feels good to be back. And let me tell you, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And I appreciate all of y'all. It sometimes in life things happen, things happen and you need to prioritize, what you need to do and things to get done so that you can do the things that you love to do. And I'm gonna tell you, all of y'all who reached out to me and was like, listen, when you gonna do your next show? When you gonna do your next show? I love y'all. I really do. Because it's things like that that keep you motivated into doing what you're doing. When you don't get any type of feedback, when you don't see anything like that, it can be depressing at a point in time, and it makes you wonder, hey, are you even is it even worth doing? It can make you wonder. But the fact that you guys the fact that you guys stayed true and y'all were on it, calling me and everything, and just, hey, what you doing? I appreciate y'all. I really do. So listen, we are back and we got a show for you. Um, I've been trying to get this sister on for a while. I've been talking to her and she was like, talking to her, trying to get her on the show and everything. And it was just one of those things, where timing or whatever like that. And but finally did it, and it came at a good time because it came when I'm coming back to y'all. And I don't know, it looks like she might be having some camera problems right now because her camera's off. But let's see, we're gonna yeah, she's having some issues, I guess. So we are gonna wait and see if she comes back to us. That would be unfortunate. But listen, we're gonna talk about what the show is gonna be about anyway. And we're gonna talk about, are you your spouse's type? And I kind of referenced this one at one point in time in the show and everything. And it's so important for us to discuss things like this. Are you your spouse's type? And there's like so many things and so many ways that we could look at that. But that's deep. It's real deep. And a lot of y'all are with somebody and married with somebody, and you know what? You don't even like them. You don't even like them like that. So, there she is. She's back and everything. Okay. And I see her. So she was able to get back. So we're going to bring her on. And without further ado, I'm going to bring her and I'm going to let her introduce herself. But after all the technical difficulties, we glad you made it back to us. And go ahead and tell the people who you are after we give you your applause and everything. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. And tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself.
My name, I go by Burnett, and I am a counselor, a family counselor, mental health counselor, you name it. Also an advocate for women and children who've been sexually abused, and an advocate for people who have disabilities. I am a people's person. I love on people, and that's just who I am.
Cool. Well, we appreciate having you, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on the episode. And while you were going, I went ahead and dropped the title that we're gonna do. Are you your spouse's type? And man,
Right.
that's yes, exactly. Are you your spouse's type? There's so much
Mm,
with that. There's so
it
much
sure
with
is.
that. And let me ask you a question. When you hear "Are you your spouse's type?" what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Opposite.
Okay, okay,
or
okay. Go into
my
that a little bit.
me and myself, we was opposites. So that's a type. I don't
Hmm.
think people should be exactly alike. You know,
Mm,
I
there
wouldn't
you
want
go.
nobody like me. I
Right,
can't date you.
right, right, right. Yes. It's crazy that you mentioned it because I was literally just talking to somebody about that very thing. And I said the same thing. I'm like, listen, I wouldn't want to date me. And it's not because I don't like me, but it's because I'm me. Why would I want to date myself? I don't want to date somebody like me. I need somebody who's going to balance me. Those parts, those parts where I might be too much of or not enough of, they're those. because we could fill each other in. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
vice versa. You know, somebody that I could balance out. You know, you want somebody just like you is crazy. Why do you want to date yourself? That's
Mm.
weird to me. If you want to date yourself, you know,
You
both
have
of
to
y'all high strung. Y'all walking around the house, both high strung. You know, both scared of mice, both high strung. You know, both scared of spiders. And what y'all? How y'all gonna get anything done?
man. Not only that, shoot, conflict,
There you
that
go.
competition, man. Conflicts, just
Mm,
argument. Nah, I like peace.
there you go. There you
So
go.
yeah,
There
I
you
need
go.
somebody to
Yes,
go bring me the peace too.
there you go. And you know, mentioning that with peace and everything, you know, conflict. You, you know, I talk about often, and you know, when you have that conflict, it's so important for couples to realize that neither one of them are the problem. You know, that the
Hmm.
problem is the problem. And if you guys are a unit, a joint unit, y'all are a team, then you have to realize that as a team, you need to attack the problem, not attack each other. Because what happens now, you know, I'm arguing with you and I have this I gotta win mentality, or it's all about me proving my point, you know, and I have to prove my point until you yield, you concede, and you do all of that. So now what happens? Now did I win? Because now I'm sitting around here, you know, with the celebratory smile on my face and everything, but now I have to deal with that attitude. I have to deal with that attitude because now she's feeling some type of way, you know, or vice versa. You know, maybe she wins. And now he talking about, "Yeah, I'm going out with the fellas, you know, I'm going to the park, I'm going to do whatever." And now, so did either one of you really win? You know,
Hmm.
did either one of you really win? And I think that's the thing that you have to realize when you're talking about that, because attack the problem. Don't attack each other, you know?
Yeah, and that's what people fail to realize. They get into these relationships and then they fighting amongst with each other instead of fighting the problem.
Hmm.
And solving that problem. You're not going to solve it when you're fighting each other, because
Right,
basically the problem is the problem. It's not
right.
it's not the two individuals. It's the problem.
There you
That
go.
you have to solve. And once you
There you
realize that and sit down and say, hey, let's figure this out together.
go.
But
Right.
you got to have a partner that is willing to do that. There's some people that don't have that. They're in it for the wrong reasons. Might be just for money. Might be just for sex. What,
Hmm.
but it's not for the right reasons. It's not to build and grow with that person, and
Right,
that's where we have issues, especially in this day and time. Uh,
right.
Back in when I was growing up, it was you didn't see that much of in and out of marriages. My grandparents
Mhm,
got married until my grandmother passed away.
mhm.
So, and then I mean I had another my other grandmother. My grandfather died when I was like 4 years old, but she never remarried. So
Right.
relationships is totally different. Um,
Mhm.
People don't stay together. They're
They
just
don't.
it's not a foundational thing to build, to grow, to expand, together. And then, you got
Mhm.
people that say, well, I've been married, now I just outgrown them. How do you outgrow somebody? Like basically, you don't really
Right,
outgrow them. You just don't want to be with them. Because if
right.
you love somebody and you want to build with this person, you will bring them along as you're growing, you know.
Mhm.
So you got people that just they give up too easily. They give up the
Right.
fight. So and
Definitely.
that's not good.
Right. How often do you see in your practice and things that you do? And let me tell y'all, you know, so I know I know the sister looks about 30 years old and everything like that, but she is downplaying her experience in this field, okay? She been doing this. She's a gangster OG, all right, up in this field. She been doing this for a while. This ain't been no 10, 15, 20 year time frame that she been in this. She been in this game for a long time. She been in the game before it
Ooh,
was a
look it up
game,
my
you know.
age, man. You know?
She been in the game before it was a game, you know. I'm not gonna say how long. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you calling me after the show. Yo, why you do that? Why you know, I don't want that. But I don't want that
Um,
smoke. But let me tell you, she is a OG in this game and she been doing this thing for a long time. So she downplayed herself in the beginning when she introduced herself. But I gotta pour a little bit more on that though. You know what I'm saying? I do. So and with that being said, I'm gonna ask you something. Um, how often do you see people that come across, you know, that you in your business? How often do you see that lack of communication is actually the whole problem? Like there's not actually a problem. Y'all just need to learn how to communicate with each other. How often
a
does that happen?
lot, all the time, sir, all the time. People don't realize that there's a right way to communicate and there's a wrong way to communicate. You know,
Mm,
and we as a people of
hmm.
color, we lose out on that
Mm,
because we're not taught how to really communicate with one another, especially a male and female
right.
relationship. And so I run into it a lot. You know,
Really. Wow.
people don't want to listen to one another, and see that's the thing. We don't listen to one another.
Mm-hmm.
We want to out talk one another. We want to just do our own thing. You know,
Mm,
and that's not how you have a relationship. That's not how you're going to build strong with on a relationship. You got to
that's right.
take yourself out of the equation basically, and realize that you have another person that you're supposed to be you're building with, and that you two is becoming one in one
Right.
basically.
Right.
That
Definitely.
foundation. And so
Definitely.
if you don't have that mindset, you're not. It's going to be real hard. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's going to be really hard.
Right.
Um, you have to know how to communicate correctly, and there's little steps that you can do. Because when I was married, like I say, 15, 30 minutes out of our day, and the kids
Mm-hmm.
are down. We spend time talking about our day, what's going
Mm,
on. What issues we got within ourselves, or if there's something that we see with each other, we try to
right.
resolve those issues before they get bigger. Because if you
Right.
forget, if you neglect
Mm-hmm.
those issues, those little ones, when they're small,
Mm-hmm.
then they go and become bigger. Then
Right.
you just added fire, you
That's
know,
right. That's
to
right.
everything.
Right.
So I think communication, the correct way, is a positive. That name calling people out their names, throwing stuff at them.
Mm.
That's not
Yes.
the right
Yes.
thing. You know.
Right. Right. You know, you brought something up and I'm glad you said it. But is, you know, some people think just because they're communicating, well, you know, they say communicate, you know, but it's all about that effective communication. You know,
Hmm.
just because you're talking to somebody doesn't mean you're communicating with them. There's a difference between talking to, talking at, and communicating. You know, communicating is an equal exchange of opinions and ideas, you know, where
Hmm.
one person, just like you said, one person stops and listens, actively listens, and the other person, you know, gets that and receives that. But you know, and that brings up something. And if you've been watching the show before, you've heard me talk about this because it's just so relevant to this and what we're talking about. Um, there's an episode that I did. There's an episode I did where I had two sisters on here, and one of the sisters says something, and I reiterated, and I was like, okay, so what you're saying is this, 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 and this, and she was like, no, that's not what I said. Now in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I just didn't hear it. I said, okay, well, my bad. Go ahead and reiterate and tell me, you know, what you said, because I want to make sure I get you right, you know? And she said the same. Now, when she said what she said that I supposedly didn't get, in my mind, I'm like, that's what I just said. That's what I just said. But, you know, I'm thinking on my mind, I mean, we're recording, so, but in my mind, I'm like, that's what I just said. So and so I said, well, isn't that what I just said? And then the other sister laughed because she was like, no, you don't get it. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. What she's saying is different. So, for the sake and time of the show, I'm just like, okay, cool. But here's what I did. After the show, I called one of my boys up and he listens to my show. And I was like, yo, do me a favor, man. Listen to the show. And when you get to this part, and I didn't prompt him, and I know he's watching this, so he probably laughing, and I prompt him. I didn't prompt him. I just told him, listen to this and call me back and tell me what you hear when you get to this part. He was like, okay, cool, no problem. Couple of days later, he hits me back, and he hits me back laughing. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, man, he said, you said exactly what they said you were saying. I was like, I know, that's what I thought, right? He said, yeah, that it was weird because you were saying the same thing that they were saying, and then when you said it, they said that you were saying not something different. I was like, thank you. I know, thank you. I'm glad I'm not crazy. But then I was on to something. If you know me, I like to play with things and see how they tick and all
Mhm.
of that. So now I called my cousin up and she watches the show. And I was like, hey, cuz, do me a favor. Listen to the show. All right. When you get same thing, listen to the show. When you get to this part, let me know what you think. And she was like, okay, not a problem. Boom. Couple of days later, she calls me back. I'm like, what's up? What's good? She's like, yeah, you just didn't get it. I was like, what?
It's
Wait
a
a
woman thing.
Yes, yes, yes. And I had that eureka moment at that point because I was like, man, how many couples have broken up because they're saying the same exact thing, but they're so invested in what's coming out of their mouth and what's on their mind that they're not they don't take the time to
Comprehending.
see that they're actually saying the
Mhm.
same exact thing. They're actually saying the same exact thing. And don't get me wrong, I do know, and I've learned since then, it's because men and women interpret things differently. You could be saying the same
Right.
thing, but we interpret things so different, and
Mhm.
and if anybody watching this show could take anything away from that, take time to hear what your partner's saying. Take time to actually see them and see the words that are coming out of their mouth. I don't care, male or female. Take time to actually see the words that are coming out. And if you don't understand,
Ask them.
here's a key. Here's a key. If they thinking that you said something you didn't say, stop for a minute and then
Mhm.
ask them, let me ask you, what is it that you heard me say?
Mhm. That's
What
it.
is it
That's
that
it.
what is it that you heard me say? And let them bring that back to you. Let them bring that back to you because in them in them conversing with you and telling you what they heard, it'll give you the opportunity to now know, okay, maybe that's why. Because
Yeah.
that's actually not what I said, you know.
Mhm.
And now I see where the issue is. Now I see where let me break it down a little better because maybe that's how you took it, but that's not what I said. I'm telling you that
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how many things could be resolved just from effective communication. Talk to that person, talk to that person, you know. But now
Yeah.
there's a whole nother side of that, sis. There's a whole nother side of that. And here's the deal. And I'm going to ask you this. You have a group of people who, and it's getting back to the main topic of the show, which is who just don't like the person that they're with. They just don't like them. And it has nothing to do with communication.
Mhm.
It has nothing to, it has to do with the whole process of how they got together in the first place.
Oh yeah.
How they got together in the first place, or maybe not even how they got together. Maybe they actually did have good intentions when they first started. But then one person, they just might, you know, fart too much in the bed. You know what I mean? It could be anything. And I say that, it's funny, but I use that as an example of how expanded it could be to the things. that could just turn somebody off so instantaneously, you know, and without that proper check valve, you know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
grows and it grows and it grows until it's like I don't even like you no more. I don't even like you no more. You know, what do I do? You know, but sometimes they stay in a relationship. They stay in a relationship. And, you know, and that's only one part of it, you know. You have the other part
It's
which I
funny you
mentioned
said
to
that
begin
though.
with. Go ahead, talk to
Yeah,
me. Talk to me.
it's so funny you said what you just said. Because I had a couple. I had a guy. I counseled, and he got out of his marriage because his spouse would not get out. Leave the room to pass gas.
Oh
He thought.
wow.
And I looked
Wow.
at him. I said, "Do you know that that's something natural? Sometimes people just can't, control that."
Right,
And
right.
he had a big issue about it. But that
Wow.
that might have been the reason for what he wanted, but there was
Mhm.
another underlying
Right,
reason,
right,
because he just
right,
didn't want to be in a marriage. So that's what he used. But
right.
people get into relationships for a lot of different reasons. Money. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
they might have had great sex when they met, and they want to get in. They in a relationship. And
Mhm.
then after a while, they didn't really build the relationship on love or respect or anything. They built it on a physical, sexual thing. And
Mm.
once that honeymoon is over, hey, they ready to go.
Right.
So
Right.
you got to look at a lot of things. People get married for because children.
Mhm.
Sometimes they stay together because of the children. They don't love
Mhm.
each other. They're just basically housemates. They
Mhm.
share the bills. But they're there for the kids. Um, so there's a lot of reasons. And if
Mhm.
it's not for the right reasons, then not even 9 out of 10, they're gonna go for that greener grass, that 80-20 thing. And hey, I see, I got something better over here, so let me go check this out. And hey, that feels
Mm.
good. I'm gone.
Right. Right.
So
Right. That
what do
eighty
you do?
twenty. That 80-20. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. That 80-20, because that, you know, again, I mean, you hitting so many points, so many like valid like gems and jewels, you know, because that's just it. Do you give up the person because of that 20% that you don't like about them? Do you give up that whole 80%? Because how, you
Mm-hmm.
know, there's very few people in this day and time, male or female, there's very few people in this day and time that are that full 80 package. You know what I mean? That are that full 80 package. You know, there's not a lot of people. You know, sure. You know, we all come with baggage. All right. If you don't think that you come with baggage, that part right there is your baggage, you know, because you have a hard time facing reality. And that's your baggage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got baggage too. We all come with baggage. And the thing is to find somebody that you're able to finessely deal with the baggage that they bring. That's what you have to
Mm-hmm.
do. You know, you're able to deal with their baggage. It's not too heavy for you, you know, and that's the thing. So that's that 20%. But now if we apply some proper communication and some effective communication, we might
Mm-hmm.
even be able to get that 20% down to 50% or maybe 10%, you know, but it comes with time. It comes with time. And and that's something I wanted to hit also in the communication problem. In the communication thing is people, couples, married, not married, just couple, whatever you are, you need to remember this that being angry at somebody and y'all are having a discussion or argument, it doesn't give you the right to say whatever you want. Doesn't give you the
Yeah.
right to say whatever you want. You know, you have to think about this in a couple of ways. One is if you really care about that person, then your heart won't allow you to say those mean, nasty things. It
Mm-hmm.
won't. It
That's
won't
true.
allow you to say those mean, nasty things. And if you find yourself wanting to say those mean, nasty things, then I would seriously think that there's some underlying issues that you have and from deeper within that have nothing to do with your person, that have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with your person, that you need to go do the work done, and you need to go talk to somebody, talk to a therapist or a counselor, and do that work,
Yep.
because words are like bullets. When they leave, you could say sorry all you want to, but when that trigger is squeezed, you can't pull those words back.
So
And that
thank
person's always going to remember you called them a dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? Later on, you said sorry, but it's still in your mind. You still remember that dun 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 dun. dun.
you.
You still remember it. You still remember it.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
so.
just like what you said with the luggage, you know. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, over time when you're in a relationship, because I look at this like that, you know, if I got a suitcase full of luggage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And over time, when you're in this relationship, if you're with the right person, you want to start taking some of that stuff out of that luggage. You want
There
to
you
start,
go.
you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and that's what I kind of use with when I counsel people. I tell them, everybody comes, like you said, everybody comes with something, some
Mm-hmm.
good, some bad. Okay, but what you want to end up doing, you want the good to outweigh the bad. And
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to do that, you have to sit down there and evaluate yourself.
There you
Okay.
go.
And a lot of people don't do that. They don't take time to find out, what am I? Who am I? What am I
Mm.
about? What do I think? How do I act? You know,
Right.
I always tell them, go ask people that know you, you know,
Right.
your family, whatever. And what do they see about you? And
Mm-hmm.
if they see certain things, then
Yeah.
if more than I'm like this, if two people see the same thing about
Mm.
you, then
Mm-hmm.
that's a flag.
Yes.
If they say, well,
Yes.
you argue too much, or you too bossy, or whatever, then take a self examination and say,
That's
okay,
right.
they said this, this, this. How do I change that bad behavior? Because in
Right.
order for you to get into a good, strong, foundational relationship, you got to know yourself. Can't nobody
Right.
make you happy. Can't nobody please you. Can't nobody give you the joy, the peace, and all. You got to have that for yourself.
That's
Okay.
right.
You can now they can add to it. They
Mm.
can add to your happiness. They can add to your peace because they're bringing. They're giving you some of what they have. But can't nobody give you anything. You got
That's
to
right.
already have it.
That's
And
right.
that's why a lot of us get this problem, this situation, get into relationships because they think somebody's gonna make them happy. They think somebody's gonna fulfill the emptiness that they don't have inside of them.
Mm.
Can't nobody give you that.
That's right.
So I always tell people, look, before you get into a relationship, I don't care if it's with another a spouse, children, whatever. Know yourself.
Right.
Then learn, and then on top of it, try to learn your spouse. What makes them happy? Can you tell when your spouse walk in the door if they're upset or they had a
Mm.
bad day? You know,
Mm.
that's knowing your spouse. If my spouse came in the house and I see a different expression on it, I already know something happened.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
you got to learn the triggers of yourself, and you got to learn the triggers of your spouse. And
That's right.
you don't want to compound them
Right.
and make people, make your spouse feel like they got to walk on eggshells. You know,
Mm.
if you're in a relationship where you hear the car doors, closed and the door
Mm.
open, and you start
Mm.
having to feel like you tiptoeing because you don't want
Mm.
to say the wrong thing or do the wrong, then
Mm.
you need to evaluate that relationship.
That's an
I'm
awful
serious.
feeling. That's an awful
Or if you're a
feeling.
man and you don't want to come in the house and you sit in the car for
Yeah.
an hour, whatever, trying to sip on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to
Yeah.
evaluate that relationship. I'm
You
sorry.
know,
I'm just
let
telling
me
you.
let me tell you, being and any of my military people, they could tell you, being in the military, we all had that one boss that would make you stay late with him. When you talk, I had a first sergeant one time, and he just straight out said it: "Misery loves company. Therefore, y'all gonna
Hmm.
stay because I'm miserable." You know,
Hmm.
and anybody in the military, y'all can raise your hand on this, and y'all know this is factual. When you could always tell when somebody's having problems at home because they're gonna make you stay, they're gonna make you stay late, and then reverse of that, you could tell when somebody got a good life at home. Say like,
They
man, y'all
want
go
to
ahead
go
and get up
home.
out of here. Y'all go ahead and get up out of here. I'm going
Mhm.
home. You know what I mean? They don't want to stick around. They don't want to stick around. So yeah, you right. You right about that. And I'm gonna put you on the spot now, and we gonna slow down and get ready to close it out. But I'm gonna put you on the spot now. For those people that are in relationships, whether it be marriages or anything else, what would be your advice to somebody who does not like their partner? They just don't like them for whatever reason they got in that. I mean, and I know that might be a hard question, a wide question, but for those people that are listening right now, tell
Mm.
them what you would think from your professional experience and from your life experiences and everything else. What would you say to those people that are out there listening or watching that just do not like their spouse?
I would say find a reason to like them
Mm, okay.
because that's the reason you married them in the first place.
Oh, wow.
So
Yes.
find something new. That's me because
Oh.
giving up on a relationship just because you so-called fell out of love, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a reason to get out of a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
People grow. We
Right.
all grow. So you need to ask yourself, where am I at in my life? Um, we have this thing where certain people when they get a certain age, 50, they go through this stage where the children are leaving the house, parents are either having medical whatever issues or whatever, they're going through certain issues, and it seems like everything just hitting them all at once, but and they're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but is that a reason to walk away? No, because you're giving up all those years, years that you have built with this person, instead
Mm-hmm.
of trying to sit down and say, hey, this is the stage that we're at. Where can we go from here? How can we
Mm-hmm.
grow together? To to find some new avenues. The things that used to work, when you was in your 20s, 30s, they might not
Mm-hmm.
work when in your 40s and 50s and
That's
60s.
right.
Well, because think about it, your body ain't working the same way you was when you was in your 20s and 30s. Come on.
That's right. That's
So what
right.
makes you think your relationship's going to be the same? You're not thinking the same way you was when you was in your 20s and 30s.
That's
So
right.
come on, let's be real. You're
Right.
you're 40, 50 years old. Okay, think like a 40, 50-year old. You've grown. You expanded.
Right.
You learned new things. Share those new things. Invite. Start new things. Don't try
Mm.
to do the old things that you used to do. Hey, meet new people. Get go.
Right.
Do things together. Learn how to expand your relationship.
Right. Right.
Find out a solution before you
Mhm.
start thinking about walking away. Try
Right.
everything that you can, and then if at the end, if everything that you've tried, the counseling, the new ideas or whatever, if none of that works, at
Mhm.
least you could say, "Hey, we tried," you
Right.
know, and it
Right.
wasn't just a out of the blue thing. Come on, let's get
Mhm.
real because marriage nowadays is just like a revolving door. You're in and you're out, in and you're out.
Mm.
Come on.
That's
Can we
right.
stop that revolving door? Can we just have it where we're going on the elevator and we climb and we're going up? Come on.
Mm. That's a whole nother episode right there alone, talk, just to talk about the
Hey,
revolving door of marriage. Look, that's a good one. The revolving door of marriage. That's a whole
hey,
nother
you know
episode right
what?
there. That's
I
a
give
whole
you a
nother
topic when you're
episode.
ready. Hit
There
us
you
with
go.
that.
There you go. Definitely. I'm gonna definitely have you back. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and a lot of y'all might not know this. My guest, Sister Burnett, she knows this. But I was in school to be a marriage and family therapist, and one of the things that I learned during there, in my studies and everything. And you tell me if you've heard this, and is this true? And have you found this? But couples don't kiss anymore when they've been together for a long time. They don't kiss, and research and studies have shown that if you just take the time out every day, and I'm not talking about just a peck, I think it was something like a 15-second kiss or a 30-second kiss a day. It
Mhm.
releases like some type of endorphins in your head
Girlfriend.
and everything like that.
That's
And
it.
it causes you to actually start liking that person more. It causes you to
Mhm.
start liking that person more just by kissing that person again, you
Well,
know?
it's not only kissing. I mean,
Mhm.
touching, holding
There you go.
hands, taking walks,
Mm,
smiling at one another. It's a lot
right.
because that's what attracts people. It's
Mhm.
people think that in order for them to be intimate, they think it's all about sex. Intimacy starts
Mhm.
way before that. It
In the
starts with
mind. Starts up
smiling
here.
and
That's right.
yeah, and the closeness of the hands and you're sitting there just hugged up on one another. That's
Right.
intimacy.
There you
Looking
go.
at each other, giving each other kisses on. You know what? Another thing is too, little notes. Hey,
Okay.
yeah, we
Okay.
got this device right here.
Right,
And you
right,
think
right.
if you can't send a little text, hey baby, I'm thinking about you.
There you go.
If
There
I
you
do
go.
something that come across my little thing, oh my baby
Mhm.
thinking about me. And something my boss just probably went off on me, but I got a text. I can't wait to get home. Come
There
on.
you go. Right, right, right,
You see,
right. Just
that's
throughout the day,
that's
let that
that's what
person know you
we
thinking
need to go
about them.
back to. Yeah, that's what we
There
need
you
to go
go.
back to. The little teeny things. People think you got to do all this major big things, flowers,
There you
can,
go.
all that stuff. Hey, let me go take you out to this fancy restaurant. No, come on. Cook a nice
Right.
dinner at home. You know
There
what?
you go.
And get dressed. Women, come on. Let me tell you something. Come on. Now
There
I'm
you
talking to my
go.
sister here.
Say it. Say it. Talk about it.
Now,
Talk
I
about it. We clap on that one. Talk about
if
it.
you're married for a little while, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, you get used to each other. But come on, sis. Don't let your man come in the door and you still looking like sweatpants,
Mm,
whatever.
mm.
Come on, fix yourself up.
Right.
You ain't got to put on makeup and all that, but just dress
Right.
up for your man.
Right.
Have a date night.
Right.
You ain't going nowhere, but you're dressed and y'all
Right.
dance in the house. Do something out the
Right.
norm. If you want to keep your spouse, you got to get out the norm. You got to start, thinking out the box. And
There you go.
you can't let your children say, well, we got kids. Come on, I've been there, done that. Them
Mhm.
kids don't stay up. If your kids are staying up past 8 o'clock, something wrong.
There you go. There
I'm
you
gonna tell you
go.
that right
That's
now.
the truth.
Because them kids need to have
Facts.
their butt in the bed so you and your spouse can
That's
have
right.
some alone time. You need
That's
to
right.
find time for each other. You know,
That's right.
if,
And fellas, it ain't just on the women. Listen, especially this day and time, for y'all out there that come home, that allowing y'all women to come home and every day you playing Madden or you playing one of these doggone video games and you sitting up there in your cut off sweatpants and your t-shirt that got a mustard stain on it because you done been eating hot dogs and everything. You think that's appealing to your woman? You think that's appealing to your woman? Yo, cut the game off. Cut the game off and just look at her. Look in her eyes. Look at her.
mhm.
Say hello. How you doing? Go up to her. You know, give her a hug. Give her a kiss. Because the same as we don't want to see them in that moo with the holes in it. And look, and it's crazy because I know what a lot of y'all saying. And stop it. Stop it. Y'all saying my grandma wore that moo and she had 15 kids,
No, they didn't.
you know.
I don't know
No,
what
but
grandmama they had, but mine didn't. My grandmother, I'm gonna tell you, she was 90 some years old. She was still wearing her little heels and her lipstick and her makeup. Please do not
okay,
go there.
okay, okay. So
Do
your
not
grandma had
go
it
there.
going on there. She wasn't
Yes.
playing that. That's what's
Mm-mm.
up. That's what's
If
up.
you want, to, it's not. And I'm gonna tell you this: it's not just for your spouse; it's for yourself.
There you go.
Okay?
Yes.
Because see, if you love yourself, you're gonna dress for you. You're gonna make
Mm,
sure you're gonna love on your spouse.
that's right.
Come on.
That's right. That's right.
I'm in the house. Look, I'm in the house now. Look at.
hmm Right.
Okay.
Right.
No, come on. Let's keep it real.
Right. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, we don't we've been on here for a minute and man, it was so awesome having you on the show. And I'm gonna have you back. All right. So y'all
All
gonna see
right.
her back. I'm gonna have her back because it's phenomenal talking to her and having these type of conversations, especially somebody that's been around as long as you have in the field. So it's dope. It's dope. I'm trying to bring back the word dope, just so y'all know. You know, I'm keep saying it. So
All
yeah, it's
right.
dope. I'm trying to bring it back. I'm trying to bring it back. So it's just dope having you. And let me tell y'all. So next week, our next episode. So when y'all watching this, y'all know y'all gonna watch it. Um, I'm gonna prepare y'all for it. And then our next week, we're gonna be talking about the man or the bag. You know, which one are you chasing? The man or the bag?
Ooh.
Which one are you chasing? That's gonna be our next episode that we're gonna talk about. So for all of y'all out there that joined in and checked us out, do me a favor, please. If you enjoy what you're hearing, you like the show and everything, put a comment on there. Like and subscribe the show. When you subscribe, that's what gets the algorithm out and it gets it pushed out so other people can see it and everything. And the likes, all of that stuff counts because it helps me to continue bringing this type of content to y'all, you know. So
Mhm.
please, by all means, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. We're gonna have some real serious topics that I know you're gonna want to be there for. Trust me, you're gonna want to be there. So listen, I appreciate y'all coming. Um, it was dope, and Sister Burnett, we appreciate you coming as well. And listen, talk to us real quick. Um, you do have a business and everything. You do this. How can people get in touch with you if they want to, look at you and get some services or have somebody to talk to? Tell us about that and how they can reach out to you.
Oh, well, they can reach out to me at my business, my email at Relentless Hope 2016 at gmail.com. If you want to hook us, get some counseling or whatever, one on one, I'm there for you. I do it virtual. So, hey, I would love to help my sisters and brothers to stay strong because we need one another. That's what
Definitely,
it's about.
definitely. And one more time, can you spell that? Can you spell that for us? The website.
Sure
I'm
can.
gonna put it on. I'm gonna
Let
put
me,
it on the
let me,
screen so everybody could check it out.
okay. It's Relentless is RELENTLESS Hope HOPE 2016 at gmail.com.
All right. At
Yeah.
gmail.com. All right, and I'm gonna put that on here. Give me 1 second so that everybody can check that out. I'm gonna put it on here. Let's see. Mm,
Appreciate it, bro.
not a problem. Not a problem. Definitely. If I could get it up, if I can get it on here, man, what's going on? Hold on. Okay. And so, and tell us the type of while I'm trying to get this together. Tell us the type of services that you offer, because because I'm
Oh,
obviously
well.
not too inclined on doing this type of stuff.
Well, I do. I offer counseling of various types. Mental health.
Mhm.
I deal with the psyche of alcohol and drugs. Um, but my passion is relationships, family, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, any kind, whatever you might have going on issues. I basically handle it. And like my brother said, I've been in this field for over 30 some years. I don't mind telling them that I'm a little
There you go.
seasoned, you know.
There you
I
go.
don't look I don't look what I've been through, don't look what I'm supposed to look like. Hey,
Right, right, right.
keep the peace,
There you
stress
go.
free.
That's what's up. And you can see her website. I finally got it. You can see her website scrolling through the how you could get in touch with, not a website, but how you could get in touch with her. You could see that
Right.
on the bottom of the screen. And so listen, we appreciate you coming out, and we'll be seeing you again definitely. And for those of y'all that are out there, listen, I love y'all. We back and we gonna stay back until y'all tell us y'all don't want us back. So y'all know how I do. Appreciate y'all coming out. Appreciate y'all joining us and checking out the show. And on that note, I'm gonna say love, peace, and hair grease.